Sign language.
You could talk all it know if you want.
Anonymous Miss, good night. How you doing? It's been a while, man. I want you to miss me as much as I miss you. Talk to me, tell me what's going on
She
with you.
can't talk to you. Alright.
We just finishing setting up. What I want.
Up inside you. Let me get.
I was gonna come in, click like, put some comments in there, help me understand if one of the miss this podcast here, man. So,
It's you by yourself, boy.
huh?
It's you by yourself.
What do you mean?
Ricky, that is.
Well, yeah, it's just me tonight. And I can bring on a brethren, but Anonymous telling me no sound.
No sound? We getting
Alright,
sound?
can you hear me? Can you hear me, Anonymous Miss? Just let me know if you can.
She should be.
Really appreciated. Appreciated. Are you there?
On your party,
On the board. Again,
Are you there?
you know, you tell me it was this one last time, no?
Could we be? Just let me know when you can hear.
Everything
Just
is
let
mute.
me know when you can hear. Please.
Yeah, whatever microphone he got there.
Just let me know when you can hear me. Very, very low now. That's what she's saying.
Very, very low.
I will know. Yeah, I hear myself actually a lot louder in my headphones. So yeah, Anonymous Miss, help me to understand if you can hear what I'm saying. Okay, I can hear the guy on camera better. That is not good.
That was me that they said we heard.
Just keep me in a loop, Anonymous Miss.
It looks
You are
so.
going to right now to the audio of this podcast. Let's see if I am coming through better than I was before.
Still a little low?
I still waiting. I ain't see her say anything since. I still waiting.
It look like my phone at the off. Hello.
Hello. I need to hear myself really well. Anonymous Miss, please keep me appraised of this.
You hearing me?
So I hope you hear you better.
I don't know. It's not you. What number that is?
1 and 3.
1 and 3. That he on there, so I know. Yeah, we get a signal from there.
Turn up, you radiogram. That's what August saying. You got yourself Patrick anywhere there. No, Anonymous, you can hear me now? How is the audio now? How is the audio now?
No,
Oh.
you already
It's the audio now.
This going to USB, right? Not going to USB, right?
Right, she's saying that it is a bit better, but it's still a little low.
Alright, tell she we intro that so she over here. So
Other media productions is in the background trying to make wrong things right. So at this point, since that you can hear me, but I am still a little low, help me to understand what's been going on with you guys since last we had a live. Just keep the chat going while we try to get things organized on our end. And then we in turn will get the ball rolling for this reinsertion of the Up Inside Your podcast. I hope you guys are staying hydrated out there. It's the summertime. It is going to be a very hot one. Mary, good night. What going on, girl? I miss you bad. Why you don't left from Hayes and come Barbados, girl? Why you don't come Barbados? guys, we still working on getting this situation sorted. Anonymous, damn it, boy. Anonymous Miss says better. The shout out for Mary was good. Was it that I was shouting? That's a little. It gave me a little piercing in my ear. From where? Well, I. Q, give me some assistance with these knobs over here, cause I don't want to blow us to the new super earth that Elon is preparing for the super rich. How's everybody going? How's everybody going? If you can hear me properly now, please say something within the chat. We are working on the audio as we go along. Help. Say again? I level. I could hear myself clearly. We appreciate you taking the time and and bearing with us as we deal with this audio situation. I think the Up Inside Your podcast has some of the most understanding listeners. And okay, Danit says she can hear me. August is saying actually much better. Yeah, sounding better. I can hear you, but I have my volume up to all, says Brian B. Brian B, big up yourself. It has been a while, my brother. How are you? What's going on? All right, Marie saying is much better. So I guess I could start doing my thing. I just waiting for the go ahead from Mr. Allery Media Productions that everything is fine so that I can get this episode started. Help me to understand people what has been going on with you. Talk to me. Let me know what's been happening the past couple months for you. We all going through the same things. We all going to be talking about a lot of different things tonight. Okay, well, it seems now that I've been given the thumbs up by the pit crew, Allery Media Productions, and I will do like Lewis Hamilton and mash up everything whilst winning. A pleasant good night to each and everybody. This is the Up Inside Your podcast, The Restart. It has been a while. We have been in hibernation. Do you know the reason why that we have been in hibernation? It is because we won Podcast of the Year. Can I get some claps for that, please, in the studio? Studio, can I get some applause, please? Thank you so much. We have to say big up to each and everyone who comes in every single time when they can. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for the support. We are appreciative of you taking the time out of your busy schedule during the different weeks to vote for this podcast. Sorry. We are so privileged. And the number one reason why that we had to take a little hiatus is because we were back and forth in America assisting Rihanna, because we are actually the official godparents of the newborn little boy. You didn't hear that from anybody else but us. Please do not go to Rihanna asking her any questions. Okay? She will deny it because she's a very private individual. Brian B says, Bajans never on time, so we are accustomed to any hiccups. Sir, hiccups in the studio have nothing to do with being on time, because we were here since 7:31 p.m. across Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. It's been a crazy few months, says Anonymous Mist. I ain't know what to say. You two can't handle that essay. I say, give it to me. I want to read it. Yeah, it has been a while, man, but I still in the land of the living. Who all has been good for you too. Give thanks. Give thanks for that, Brian. We as well have been going through it a bit. And like I said, we can talk about it tonight. I want to say a big shout out to Akil, aka Keely, because we are actually in his studio tonight. Storytime Studios. Big up yourself anyway you're there. Can I get a round of applause, please? Somebody press a button to give an applause. Right, thank you so much. We are here tonight, but we are consistently, concisely, persistently powered by Allery Media Productions, whom without this podcast would not be in existence. So can I have, please press the button again for the round of applause for Allery Media Productions. Thank you so much. But let me say this though. Was glad to see the podcast won that award. Hoping for many more success to the crew. Give thanks. We appreciate that and we receive that. We are hoping to. All right, so we got the automated clap clap clap. Right. So we like I said before, we want to say thank you to each and everybody for taking the time out to have voted for us. It meant a lot to us because it was our first nomination for that award, and we won it within our first award because we constantly state that we are possibly the only podcast that goes live, and we don't have the support or crutch, I would say, of editing mistakes, anything of the sort. We aim for perfection at this podcast, and we will continue to do so. Big up all of the co-hosts that are not here at this point. Like I said, it was a restart that was basically decided upon the last minute because we have been missing in action since that award, and we do not want to give you guys the impression that we have just disappeared. A lot is going on personally and professionally, and we are going to consistently get ourselves in a position to come to you guys no matter how that may be. But I know about one, right? But I got a vibe or energy outside right now that got me feeling a little hopeless and a little uncertain. You understand? Lately there's been a lot of bad news going around, and to be honest with you guys, I ignore the news. I don't watch the news ever since the C word did in circulation, and then it kind of sort of tapered off, and then it became something else, and then on top of that, it was something else, and now it's like the other thing in the background with all of that crap. And I just don't pay attention to the news because consistently I've noticed that the news just gives you nothing but negativity. And we going from mass shootings to baby formula being limited or unavailable to more suspicious deaths that are not being probed into. We getting rural fatalities going back up. We got supermarket bills going up top. We got the light and power up top, oil and gas up top, and the Godfather dead. Look, it is a rough 2022. Help me understand what is going on in Barbados currently, where we got so many different things skyrocketing. What would I think gonna be the reasoning behind this stuff? Because right now I just seeing so many different things happening, so many different conversations being made, and they're just ignoring what is going on. The average Joe is not being taken into consideration with everyday life. And whenever everyday life becomes difficult, when the amenities of basic necessary living goes above and beyond the average Joe, we know what happens next. We should all know that a certain C word is going to rise. And no, it is not the C word that you're thinking of. I'm talking about crime. Not This is a Christian podcast, so we will not be saying that word tonight. Because whenever supermarket bills go up, whenever light and power bills go up, whenever the oil is going up and the gas goes up, we know a certain C word goes up in conjunction. I mean, I call it real C words tonight, yeah. I said concisely, conjunction, all of that there. So that word is go up. It's saying that sell up bushel, but we ain't talking about that. It is crime. Crime is going to go up. Danny is saying, how can a stranger take a 5-year-old from school? Please help me to understand what it is that you're talking about there, because I remember I told you guys I don't really keep my hand on the pulse of every single detail that takes place in Barbados because of the news just consistently sending out that same negative message. Right? So I want to say a rest in peace to all of the 7 rural fatalities we've had for the year. A sincere rest in peace to each and every victim, and sincerest condolences to every single family member, friend, acquaintance, whomever that death or those deaths would have impacted. I myself was taken aback, a bit in shock over the past weekend, because there was a freak accident that occurred in my home place of St. Andrew, where the guy was involved in a freak accident where his vehicle ran over him. That is my mother's cousin, hence my second cousin, and he lived literally on top of the hill above me. So sincerest condolences to all of his sisters and brothers and aunts and uncles, cousins and the like. It is not difficult dealing with death. No matter if you see death coming or it takes you by surprise, it is never easy to deal with. With that being said, I want everybody out here to live life to the fullest, because we got the best laid plans in the world. You know, some are want to taking out mortgages. Some people trying to buy the dream car. Some people trying to go overseas and study. Some people trying to just, you know, do whatever they can do in order to secure their future. But the reality is, when you try to do all of that, the reality is you only have today, because today or this moment is all that you have. Because 2 hours from now, I could be leaving this studio and something happens to me, and that's the end of that. And all of my plans, all of my hopes, all of my dreams and my future is gone. However, we have to prepare for that future in the event we live to see it, because that's the I guess that's what's ironic about life. You have to enjoy today, but you have to be prepared for tomorrow. And it is never easy to prepare or to push your all into something when you don't have the promise of seeing that tomorrow. But always remember, striking balance is heavily important. Okay, so I getting some feedback here. So no, unfortunately, that would be the fault of the teacher, depending on what time the person walked into the school. Then the blame will go both to the guard and the principal. Well, please give me some more details as to how a 5-year-old was taken out of school by an unauthorized person, stranger actually. I've heard scenarios where fathers turned up for children and the mothers would not necessarily have wanted the fathers to get those children picked up, or he would not communicate that he's picking up the child. I've heard situations like that. But a complete stranger walking off of the road and picking up a 5-year-old child, that sounds very, very crazy to me. Insanely crazy. And the next thing we got to do, though, I just remembered this because, you know, I don't ever remember these things because they're not really advertised as heavily as others. But we got to big up the fathers on the upcoming Father's Day. Big up the fathers on the upcoming Father's Day. I said, big up the fathers on the upcoming Father's Day. No. Road fatalities. I'm seeing an increase in the road fatalities of this particular year. Obviously, we are basically on the back end of a pandemic. Can I say that? Are we on the back end of a pandemic? I think that we are, because more vehicular traffic is on the road. You know, no, I talk about pandemic. I wonder when it is that we can done with this mask thing though. Like I heard that we have the option to not wear the mask on the outside, but truth be told, there are a lot of things going on currently that make absolutely no sense. Like people lining up still outside of banks and other government institutions awaiting their turn to do business. I really and truly think that these things from the jump have been misguided. They already have been proven to not slow down or change the course of anything. So why are they still implemented? We have a place, people, and a mindset where that constantly you are hearing we are basically on the coattails of the first world. But yet, we still have this archaic view on how to adjust the sails of this ship. And it makes absolutely no sense to me. Why are we still wearing masks Why are we still lining up outside of business places to conduct business when it has been proven, not now, but actually during the pandemic, that these things do not slow down infection rates, quote unquote? So I would think that if I make something and it doesn't look good, I would figure that I would have to throw that away or discard that and try again. So why are we still wearing masks? Why are we still lining up outside in the hot sun in masks? Barbadian people, why are you walking by yourselves with a mask on? Do you understand that carbon dioxide will kill you? Do you understand that the human body is an entity that basically adapts to what you put it under, the pressures and the stress you put it under? Do you not understand that the more carbon dioxide you intake into your lungs, your alveoli, do you understand that you're going to make them weaker, less able to take in, hold, and to benefit from oxygen? I honestly do know that I would say probably in half of a decade, we will see an increase in lung issues, whether it be asthma, whether it be people not being able to breathe properly. People, please stop walking, running, whatever you do. Please stop even driving when you're by yourself with a mask on. And you know what I see with that? I see a lot of elderly people most of the time are the ones who deal with that, because, you know, the elderly group are very susceptible. I don't want to use the word gullible because it means that they, you know, are lesser than, and I don't see these people as lesser than. I believe in the elderly. I love the elderly. I love working with the elderly. And I just believe that they have been gravely misguided to think that something of that mindset protects them from something. All right, so let me double check in the group here so quickly before I keep going off. Yeah, Condona says, it's ridiculous. I don't mind wearing my mask cause how my face is set up when people talk or do ignorance. I would do my face. I would done get my face burned. Listen, I honestly do miss the faces of people. Today self, I went into a supermarket and there was a person that went to school with me. And I was saying, this person looks like this person. But because of the mask, I could not in all of my usual gumption walk up to this person and call their name, because I was like, man, I'm really in the mood for nobody telling me that I ain't them. You understand? So I just left it. Oh, I miss being able to walk into an institution and actually see the faces of people. You know, sometimes I personally don't ever like take full control of my face before I leave home because I know I can be covered with a mask. I just glad people are keeping their hands clean. I have not been sick for going on 3 years now. Thank you. Big up yourself, Anonymous Miss. I will share this information with you. I get sick once a year. I was a very sickly child when I was in my formative years. I would say from my teenage days up until my late teens. I would say about 1920. I was a very sickly child. Even my daughter makes sport at me to this day where she says, well, Daddy, you don't get sick for a joke, but when something happens to you, it's something real strange. And I got my yearly sickness last year, mid-October. And as soon as it came, it went away. And I haven't been sick since. So the only purpose for the mask for me is to hide my expressions. All right, we got another expressions hider. People are still able to identify me with a mask on, and it surprises me. It surprised me too. People, even though that my hair has changed, I cut my hair, cut my locks, and then I had the low haircut, and then I started to grow back a little something here. And I don't know if the people could see it because of the black background that I can see myself in. But people still recognize me rather easily. I don't know, but I mean, some people pick up who they are. All right. So I still ain't seeing the information about the 5-year-old that was taken from high school. Can somebody explain that story to me? I really think that we need to talk about that. We really need to have a conversation about that. But let me see. I got ASO now. Here, Tune. Another lawyer found guilty of pilfering people's money. Well, all right. What you know what I was doing? I was doing a little bit of research behind lawyering in Barbados. And you know what's so ironic is that I think our second last episode, Mr. Productions, that was our second last episode with Mr. Straker, the lawyer, correct? Mr. Productions. Our second last episode was with Mr. Straker, the lawyer, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So big up Mr. Straker. Anyway, I reached out to him. He's actually not here tonight because he was a bit unavailable, because I actually wanted to have a conversation with him about that. And apparently, side note there, Akil Maloney says some fathers just can't even get their own children, so I confused. But that's what he's saying. I remember going through some difficulty sometimes to pick up my own child, and you're trying to tell me that a complete stranger could walk off. So we gotta put this at somebody that is an adult and in control's feet. There are two ways about that. But coming back to what I was talking about. Okay, so I was doing a little looking around for reasons as to why we have numerous lawyers pilfering money from clients, whether local, whether living overseas, whether in trusts, that kind of thing. Apparently, there is no governing body for lawyers to lose their license. Let that sink in for 2 seconds, people. There is no governing body in Barbados that can hold these people accountable for when you hire them and they pilfer your money. Now, remember, the reason for Mr. Straker coming on to the podcast was to create a bridge between the average person and a lawyer, because whenever we hear the term lawyer, we usually associate it with big purchases, which would be land, which would be land and home, which would be a home, which would be, if there's a divorce situation going on, anything to do with tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, usually there's a lawyer present. So what this podcast was trying to do was to create a bridge to help the average Joe understand that the lawyer is not this mystical unicorn that you only ever come into contact with when you are either in trouble or you need to have big money sorted. But it becomes increasingly difficult when said person cannot be held accountable for their actions. We have to understand these people are human. And humans, us all, no matter what we do, no matter how much money we interfere with, we come into contact with, we are all human. And money sometimes, if not most times, if not all times, is a determining factor that brings out the strange activities or temptations in people. Because I can tell you plainly, it would be very difficult for me to look at $450,000 to $500,000 and not know what I'm going to do with this here. Because as far as I'm concerned, a lawyer's role when they are sworn in is to put the needs and the interests of their clients before their own. That's what we sit now and watch TV for. I just sit now and watch a lot of shows, and I could tell you, because I know Romario was actually debunking a lot of the things in the shows that we watch. However, we do see that that whenever a lawyer comes into contact with an individual or an entity that is being sued by said person, and they offer them a sum of money, it is the lawyer's duty to put that information over to the client for the client to either decide they're going to go with that, or they're going to take the advice of their lawyer and go whichever route the lawyer suggests. That does not seem to always be the case here. Now, what I will say is that some people, and I find that it's always the minority that is made bad for the majority. But we got to understand that the minority is not stealing $500. The minority is stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in a very malicious and underhanded way, because you know the law, you know the loopholes of the law, and you are the one jumping through them. There needs to be a governing body within this island that helps these people to understand when you do decide to take a chance or a risk to circumvent the system, you are no better than the other person who does not know the system and these loopholes. So you have to be judged harshly. Your license should be suspended. The people that you work for should be given to another firm, however that may go. I'm really interested in all that part. I believe that there needs to be a reprieve to these people. They need to be held accountable. You should not be practicing law and you are found guilty of stealing money. How does that work? If I walk into Massey supermarket right now and I steal $10,000, do you think that I will be given the opportunity to just appear in court and say, yeah, I give out the man the money, man. It's just that right now at this point in time that I didn't decide to do it. Fam, you have literally no leg to stand on, and you deserve to be judged by the harshest laws possible within this island, and your license should be revoked, and you should have to find another way to work and survive in this country. And also, you should be if you don't have that cash money available to give these people and reprieve their situation, everything that you own should either be sold or handed over to that person in the equivalent of what you stole. So let me go through here. So again, cause I saying a lot. Let me talk to my people then. It's true, Brian B, a guy I have not seen since secondary school, recognized me from far. It was creepy. What was that creepy? Anonymous Miss, come on. The dust last year had my sinuses infected, but the beach cleared that up, and I'm not one to have sinus issues. Yeah, people, get to the beach. The beach is a natural cleanser. It is the healing of the nation. Get outside, get some vitamin D3. Get it either in the tablet form or get it in the liquid form. I take the liquid form every day. Some fathers are, you see that. Hello, yeah, Anonymous Miss. People that ain't seen me in years, they will pay me. As far as I know, my experiences working at schools and nurseries, reception, children are kept with the teacher until the parent comes for the child. But after like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the teacher, they would then leave the child with the principal and notify the principal about the child still being at the school. From there, all responsibility at the principal. Also keep in mind, not all schools have a guard. Well, that's tough. That is tough. And we have to understand that even though I find that we in Barbados are very lackadaisical with the ways how we look at things, because a lot of people live with the fact that we don't have child abductions in this country. But we have to understand that we cannot play those games. We can't play those games. You know, like how 10 people could die right now in Jamaica and it will not make a difference to their overall people or whatever. It just can't happen here. Like, how would you feel to hear that a child from your school that goes to the same class as your own son or daughter has been abducted. Like that I think like that's something that would send something through this island that I don't think that we will ever be able to recover from. So before we get to that stage, we need to take the safety of our very young, easily influenced children seriously. And we need to also be harsher on the persons that are left with this responsibility. However, I know teachers have a lot going on. I know teachers have a lot on their plates. I know that you too are parents as well, and you have responsibility to your own. However, you have to recognize you are in a job. That's just like you not being upset that the nurse was in the middle of taking your blood and had to leave you with your blood being run up on the ground because they had to go and deal with a personal matter. It goes both ways. So we have to be a little more aware of what is happening, what is going on, and we have to, be our brother's keeper. When it comes to children and old people, I get very, very touchy because I believe those are the ones that need to be protected by men. You understand? All right. I was actually gonna give some solutions other than what I said about the lawyer situation. You know what needs to happen as well? Lawyers should be made to report all monies collected belonging to clients coming in and going out, which means that a lawyer cannot authorize the transferal of any money going out once it comes in, if it's a trust or something that's created, without the signature of the person that this money is awarded to. It has to be a trust account because that way both lawyer and client have to be involved. It's just like a joint account. Just as if you have money in a joint account with a person, you just can't go and take it out. You have to be present, and that other person has to be present to authorize the removal of that money or retrieval of that money. I believe that we do not have to find expensive ways to solve simplistic issues, because it seems we tend to want to always go the complicated route when a little common sense can be exercised, or as I like to call it, exclusive sense, because it is not common. All right, so the signatures of those clients the money belongs to should be necessary to make moves so that the lawyer can be shown that they are authorized to do so. I believe that these things will slow down that situation, if not eliminate it to a high degree, high level. Okay, let's see what someone is saying here. If someone comes to try, the teacher doesn't recognize the person. Yes, I agree. They are very dishonest. They take your case and keep your money and tell you a lie. That in itself is crazy. Oh, there was a notification sent out saying that the pharmaceutical groups are worried that patients may choose food over drugs as the prices continue to rise. Well, hello, pharmaceutical companies. Thank you for caring about us, the little average Joe. Where you now come from? You now understand that food will be chosen over drugs? I mean, you don't really hear much from one until there's one of pockets that get in touch, though. Well, how come when saying something? No, of course, anybody with common sense is going to look to fill their stomachs as well as their family stomach, put food on the table as opposed to drugs. Yes, some of us are in the more vulnerable state and require said pharmaceutical drugs, but I'm sure that they can find natural or naturopathic remedies to solve some of these problems that they're going through, rather than taking a pill that solves one issue and gives them 7 other problems. Side effects include sore throat, vomiting, nausea, cannot remember what your name is, going to work and giving a shit. All of that foolishness. So there are pharmaceutical companies. where you did all this time, where you been making all this money from the drugs that are selling recently over the past 2 years, huh? Oh, okay. Moving on. Blogger Stephanie Chase could find herself before the courts because of information released that caused the mistrial. Wow. And that's kind of ironic because her information put out there causing a mistrial, and now she landed in a trial. Now, if that's not poetic justice, I don't know what is. I don't know that lady. Please do not call my name to her. And then all of a sudden, my dirty laundry is on the Chase files. So, with that being said, people, I want to say a special good night to the brand Me First, who is part sponsor of tonight's episode. That's M.E First, and they say we put you first. So basically, this is what they deal with. This is what they are about. Are you tired? Not getting a chance to put yourself first? Whether you live actively or sedentary, we have a wide range of services that benefit all lifestyles, ages, and needs. At Me First, we put you first. Now people are saying, what is this ME dot first? M.E stands for massage expertise. Lately, I have been taking a bit more care into my personal health. I've been seeing a chiropractor because I deal with some back issues, and I also employ M.E First, and I am all the better for it. It is a long journey, and I am in it for the long haul. And I suggest anybody out there who lives an active lifestyle and requires recovery, sports therapy, any of those things, you contact Me First and have a conversation with those therapists, because they are very educated, they're very aware, and they tailor services according to what you need. They are necessary. M.E First. We put you first. So tonight, pardon me, we're getting a conversation. Oh, well, yes, I'm going to give you, I thought that we could put that on the comments or something underneath the video, but okay, I'm going to give you the number. The number is 257-7835. That is 257-7835. Or you can email them at massagefirstplease@gmail.com. That is massagefirstplease@gmail.com. I can repeat that number one more time. 257-7835. So, tonight was going to be a rather short introduction back into the podcast arena, because as I said, we have been missing for quite a while, and we have been missing you guys. We've been putting a lot into our plan, but as you guys would understand, plans sometimes deviate. They sometimes have to be amended, edited, sometimes aborted, depending on what is going on. We are still in the works of finding ourselves a quote-unquote permanent home, but currently we are here at the Storytime Studios. Big up Keely, aka Akil. Can we press the applause button there? So we want to say thank you to Keely, aka Akil, for giving us the opportunity to restart the podcast in this beautiful studio. I really love the setup. I love the art on the wall. It makes me want to break out in song. Who can say where the road goes? Where the days? I know the lyrics. I was lonely time, and that's all I know. So, with that being said, people, thank you so much for coming back to the podcast with us. We have missed you, and we are going to be here next Thursday. Allery Media Productions, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Now we've gotten a little acclimatized to the studio. We will not have that little issue that we were dealing with the sound earlier. as we began. And who's this boy that said, Anonymous Miss, you said up next, water still wet? What I mean? Oh, no, I see what's going on. Look, once it affects the big people pockets, they love to bring their logic to the forefront. The fact that someone took time to type and put out that in public just continues to prove your point about common sense. And let me tell you this thing about common sense. It is not common, hence why I have now labeled it. Well, not no, every sense, but the people who are around me know that I call it exclusive sense because it is exclusive. And I find that they constantly rub the noses of the Barbadian people in cow shit and tell us that it is chocolate. We now have to stop taking that and just start getting vexed and show them how we get down. Because conversations and walking about with placards and that kind of thing, that don't do nothing. When you hit them where it matters, which is their bottom line, that is when you can open a conversation with these groups. Otherwise, marching, talking, pleading, bringing out the biggest common sense things and talking about their way from all back in this time and the amount of people that have passed because of this and all of it. They don't care about that. They only care about their bottom line. So when you talk about that, please, let's do it together as a people. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about here quickly, which is something called the HOPE project. I actually did not know about this project up until this week, and I was told that it was something that was going on from last year, which basically is an initiative for 640 housing solutions where persons would repay $800 for a 2-bedroom home and $1,000 for a 3-bedroom. However, these places are only going to be in Lancaster, St. Lucie, and St. John. And apparently, you will have to sign away the benefits of the photovoltaic system on your roof once you enter into contract with the powers that be in order to not have to pay for your land. Now, yet again, people, now we exercise a little exclusive sense here. We were basically told numerous times that we were going to see eases in certain sectors. We have seen rises. So I go based off of a person's track record. This is no attack on any one party, any one person. I go based on people's actions. Words mean absolutely nothing to me. I want to see your actions, and I will go off your actions. If you want to call it judged, I will judge you by your actions. And right now, I am not seeing how that will benefit somebody in the long run when you basically sign away something that should be beneficial to your own personal pocket in the long run. But yet again, that's just me asking the questions that people do not want to ask because they don't want to be singled out and victimized. But I am not afraid of victimization because I can learn from what you say back to me. And if you choose to try to victimize me, my mouth is big enough that I can say what I have to. I'm very well spoken. Words do not fail me. They don't make me afraid. So, if you want to check out the HOPE initiative, I think you should because, housing is becoming extremely expensive. Some of us have a child or children or families to prepare for. And we really and truly need to turn the corner when it comes to ownership in this island. We have to stop being consumers and start being owners, people. Because in order for our children and our grandchildren to have the springboard that is necessary in order for them not to be a part of this system of poverty, this cycle of poverty, we need to have ownership. Ownership is the only way we can get ourselves out of this very deep hole that we have dug and continue to dig. I hate that I consistently bring, this sort of stuff up, and then I have to, hit you where it counts. But I keep trying to alert people to what needs to occur. Come together, have conversations, get in the mind of business, get in the mind of ownership. We only we can do this together. No one person can do it on their own. You have to stop trying to do that, because you have a higher rate of losing everything or to be basically unsuccessful. Success comes by bringing people together and having a mindset that is kindred and working towards things. Because if I were to decide to pack up the Up Inside Your podcast and head over to Canada, I'm not going alone. I have to take these people with me, because not only do I consider them family, not only do I consider them friends, I consider them family. And me doing it alone is not enough. What Allery Media Production does, I can't do. So he's integral. So we need each other. We need to stop trying to get on top of each other. We need to stand by each other, because we are all that we have. I am determined to turn the corner on ownership. I am determined to ensure that my children are not starting where I started, and they have a springboard that I did not, unfortunately, have the opportunity to have. Let's do this together, people. This is the Up Inside Your podcast. Thank you so much for being here. We missed you. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Have a great night.